Welcome to the library research video on getting started with reference sources and books. In this video, we'll cover what reference sources are and where you can find them, along with a discussion of books and how they work in academic libraries, how to find and request books from Bethel and our partner schools through a tool called ClickSearch. Let's get started with reference. Reference sources are basically sources of background information. So a reference source might give you definitions or summary articles summarizing a topic. You might get timelines of key events in the history of a topic, and in general you're thinking that this is going to be something that's going to give you an overview or kind of the big picture look. And whether you knew it or not, you're probably familiar with reference sources in the forms of encyclopedias, dictionaries, or even Wikipedia. Reference sources are great for getting started. When you're just learning about a new topic, they can give you the ideas for what the who, what, when, where sorts of questions related to your topic might be. In an academic library, you can find reference sources to help you learn the specialized terminology or jargon for a field of study, so that when you go to search for more in-depth information, you're armed with some idea of how the researchers talk about their particular field. Let's get started looking for some reference sources through the Bethel Library website. Okay, so here I am on the library homepage, which is bethel.edu/library. And to find reference sources, I'm going to scroll down to a section of the page that says Research Databases. Bethel subscribes to a number of databases that specifically contain these sorts of encyclopedias or reference books that we're looking for. So from the drop-down list by subject here, I'm going to choose this category that says General Reference. And it's going to open up a number of databases that contain these sorts of materials. I'll just click the first one as an example. So let's say I was doing a paper on genetically modified food or genetically modified organisms. The first thing that I'm going to want to do if I'm new to this topic is learn a little bit more about it. So I'm going to use this reference database to search for articles on that topic. So I type my search term here and I click the search icon, and what you'll notice is that it gives me a number of what it calls reference entries. So these are encyclopedia entries that come from different books. First it's going to show me the name of the entry, followed by the name of the book, and in this database one thing to look for is it'll also tell you how long of an entry it is. I can see that this first one comes from a book called The A to Z of Corporate Social Responsibility, and it's about 299 words. If I scroll further down, I might see something longer, like this more scientific entry from a book called The Encyclopedia of Ecology and Environmental Management, and it's about 10 times as long. In these databases, clicking on any of these articles will take you right to the article itself. And from here, I can read the article, and I can also do things like email it to myself, save it for later, get a link, or print it for reading offline. So that's a general introduction. Many of these reference databases that you would find in the list from the library homepage are going to work the same way. So whether you chose the database that I did or a different one, you're going to see a little bit of a different interface, but generally the same types of things. Next, let's talk about books in an academic library. Compared to reference sources, books offer an in-depth coverage of a topic with much more specific and detailed information. Often the information they contain is something that the author hopes will be stable over time. The nice thing about academic books is even though they might be long, they're often divided into chapters for subtopics. So you might be interested in a topic but may only have to read one or a few select chapters from a book instead of reading the whole thing. And the other thing to know is that as the information becomes out of date, oftentimes academic books will be revised. So you might pay attention to the year or the edition number on a book that has several editions. At Bethel, we offer both print and electronic books, and we have a tool called ClickSearch that we use to search for books. Bethel shares resources with 5 other Twin Cities private colleges in a system that we call Click. And the nice thing is that the tool we use for searching for books, which is called ClickSearch, is a common catalog for easy borrowing between the institutions. Let's take a look at how to search ClickSearch and how to request books, whether they're coming from Bethel or other libraries. For this, we're going to go back to the library homepage, bethel.edu/library. And from here, we're just going to scroll down to the first search box, which you'll see says ClickSearch. In addition to having our catalog of books and physical materials, ClickSearch can also help you find reference sources, articles, and streaming media, but we'll focus on how to use it to find books today. Let's take my example topic of genetically modified organisms and just do a very basic search for that topic here on the home page and click search. You'll notice that ClickSearch brings me a list of results and several facets over on the left side for how I can narrow them down. I also see here this yellow ribbon telling me to sign in. If I click on this, it's going to ask for my Bethel username and password. And once I've signed in, I'll see more article content that might only be available to signed in users, along with more options when we look at individual items. So let me scroll down here and notice that I have this feature over on the left where I can narrow to the certain types of resources I want to see. I'm going to narrow this down to books right away. Ebooks or electronic books are going to show up with a link that says full text available. And that means that by clicking on this, I could read this book chapter, or in some cases, an entire book. Whereas for physical books, you'll see something that says either check holdings like this, or some information on where in the library it is. Clicking into the record, I can see more information about it. I notice when I scroll down that this book isn't available at Bethel, but it is available at another Click School. This tells me that it's available at Hamline University. And if I use this button that says Request from a Click Library, I can have the book sent to me at Bethel. And since I've logged in, it has all my information, and it knows that I want to pick the book up at the Bethel University Library, and I would click Request. I would receive an email letting me know when the book was available at Bethel to pick up. But let's say I'm in a hurry and I just want to see things that are available on the shelf right now at Bethel. I also have a filter on the left here that says BU for Bethel University, Physical Resources. And clicking on this is going to limit my search even further, so that now I am seeing books, DVDs, or other physical items that are held in the Bethel libraries. So if I wanted to read this second book, Glowing Genes, I can see here now that instead of being available at Hamline, this says it's available at the Bethel University Library. I've got the call number where I could get it off the shelf, or if I click to open this, I get these details, including the ability to put Bethel's copy on the shelf for me. So I can click this Request from a Bethel Library, and again, all I need to do is tell it where I want the book to be picked up, and click Request, and the book will be put onto the hold shelf for me. I can also scroll down to see more details about a book, such as, in this case, a table of contents, and some other information like the publication year. So whether I'm looking for books that are available at Bethel, or broadening my search to see books available from our partner libraries, whether in print or electronic, Bethel will do its best to help you request these items and get them to you as quickly as possible. This concludes the introduction to reference sources and books. If you have further questions or need assistance, contact the reference librarians at the phone number or email address shown on the screen.